The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as Ambassador Lucia stepped forward, her worn boots echoing against the crystalline floor. Around her, representatives from 47 species watched with barely concealed satisfaction. The Crithian High Judge, a being of pure energy contained within a force field, delivered the verdict that would change everything. For crimes of excessive expansion, disregard for established protocols, and general disruptive behavior, humanity is hereby banished from Galactic Council space. You have 30 standard cycles to withdraw all human presence beyond your home system. Lucia didn't flinch. She'd expected this. The other species had grown tired of humanity's rapid advancement, their stubborn refusal to follow the proper channels that kept younger species in their place for millennia. What the Council didn't expect was her smile. Understood, High Judge. We'll be gone within 20 cycles. The chamber erupted in confused murmurs. The Vrexian Trade Minister leaned forward, his 6 eyes narrowing. You accept this? Without protest. Why would we protest? Lucia replied, her voice calm. You've made your decision. We respect it. Earth will comply. She turned and walked out, leaving a council chamber full of bewildered aliens in her wake. Gale stood on the observation deck of humanity's last remaining outpost in council space, watching the ships depart. As Earth's chief engineer and Lucia's partner in what the council had deemed crimes against proper development, he understood what the others didn't. Humanity had been preparing for this moment for years. They think they've won, Lucia said, joining him at the viewport. Her reflection in the glass showed the exhaustion she hid from the council. They think banishment is a punishment, Gale replied, pulling up a holographic display. They don't understand that we've already mapped 73 habitable systems outside council space. Systems they've ignored for centuries because they're too far or too difficult to reach. Humanity had always been different. While other species waited centuries for council approval to expand, humans had quietly pushed the boundaries of explored space. While others relied on council-provided technology, human engineers like Gale had reverse-engineered, improved, and innovated until their ships outpaced anything the Council had seen in 10,000 years. The Council called it arrogance. Humans called it survival. 15 cycles later, the last human vessel crossed the boundary of Council space. The Crithian High Judge addressed the assembly with satisfaction. The human problem has been resolved. They are gone. And good riddance, the Vrexian minister added. Their constant questioning, their refusal to accept their place in the natural order. Let them struggle in the darkness beyond our borders. But in that darkness, humanity was thriving. Gale stood in the command center of New Horizon, humanity's first extra-council colony, watching the construction of their third city. The planet was rich in resources the Council had overlooked, and human ingenuity had transformed it in mere weeks. Reports coming in from the other colonies, Lucia said, reviewing data streams. New Terra is ahead of schedule. Prometheus Station has discovered a stable wormhole leading to an entirely new sector, and the Darwin is sending back readings of 11 potentially habitable worlds in the Kepler expanse. 11. Gale whistled low. The Council spent 2,000 years exploring their little bubble and found 47 species. We've been out here 15 cycles, and we've already found more viable territory than they've colonized in their entire history. It wasn't magic. It was humanity's greatest strength, adaptability. While Council species needed specific atmospheric compositions, gravity ranges, and stellar types, humans could modify themselves, their equipment, and their environments. They'd learned to thrive in Earth's wildly varying climates, from Arctic tundras to scorching deserts, and that experience made them the most versatile species in the galaxy. 20 standard years passed. The Galactic Council had almost forgotten about humanity, content in their perfectly ordered civilization. Then the Devourer swarms arrived. The ancient enemy had slept for millennia in the void between galaxies, but now they were awake and hungry. They swept through Council space like a plague, consuming worlds faster than the defensive fleets could respond. The Crithian Judge, facing the extinction of galactic civilization, made a desperate decision. Send an envoy to Earth. Beg them for aid if necessary. But when the Council ship finally reached Sol System, they found it abandoned. A single beacon remained, broadcasting a simple message. The Council expedition followed the coordinates, jumping through a series of wormholes humanity had discovered and kept secret. What they found shocked them into silence. Humanity hadn't just survived banishment. They'd built an empire, thousands of worlds, dozens of species, primitives uplifted with human technology, refugees from council space given sanctuary, even rogue AI granted citizenship. The humans had created something the council never could, a truly diverse, adaptive, and united federation bound not by rigid hierarchy, but by mutual respect and common purpose. Lucia, now gray-haired but still sharp-eyed, met the council delegation aboard the flagship Indomitable. Beside her, Gale reviewed tactical displays showing the Devourer swarm's progression. "You want our help," Lucia said. It wasn't a question. The Vrexian minister, much humbled, bowed his head. "We were wrong. We let fear and tradition blind us. If there's any mercy in your species, we're already mobilizing." Gale interrupted, pulling up fleet deployments. "We detected the swarms 3 months ago. Human expeditionary forces are en route to council space as we speak." The delegates stared in disbelief. "But we banished you. We cast you out." Lucia smiled the same smile she'd worn in the council chamber 2 decades ago. "You did. And you set us free to become what we were always meant to be. But we're still human, and humans don't abandon people in need. Even people who abandoned us first. There is one condition," Gale added. "After this is over, the council ends. No more hierarchies, no more holding species back. Everyone gets a fair chance to reach their potential." The Crithian judge, humbled for the first time in its 1,000-year existence, agreed. The war against the Devourer swarms was brutal, but humanity's adaptive tactics, combined with their allies' diverse capabilities, turned the tide. They didn't just defend council space. They drove the swarms back into the void and sealed the dimensional rifts they'd emerged from. When it was over, the old Galactic Council dissolved, replaced by the Commonwealth of Stars. A true democracy where every species, young or old, had a voice. Lucia and Gale stood together on New Horizon, watching the sunset over their thriving world. "Think they've learned their lesson?" Gale asked. Lucia laughed. "Some will, some won't. But that's not our problem anymore. We've proven what we needed to prove, that humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology or our stubbornness. It's our refusal to let anyone else define our limits." In the end, the council had chosen banishment as a punishment. But humans had turned exile into evolution, and in doing so, they'd saved the very civilization that cast them out, because that's what humans do. They don't stick around where they're not wanted. They build something better somewhere else.